Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. I am super excited for today because, as you can see from my hat, I'm an Astro fan, and we're going to be learning all about a brand new release from Astro. They have a new database, Astro DB. So this is really exciting. I have been fighting my urge to try it, so this will actually be the first time I've ever tried the thing. And here to teach me is a very special guest. But before I do that, let me do a quick shout out to our sponsors. So we have NX and Netlify both kicking in to make this show more accessible. And they are providing for the captions, which are being written by Ashley at Whitecoat Captioning today. There's a URL down at the bottom of the screen here. If you want to hit that, you can follow along with human-created captions from Ashley. So thank you very much for that. And now, with no further ado, let me bring to the stage my very special guest today, Fred K. Schott. Fred, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
I am super happy to have you here. I mean, you've been on the show before. I always love having you around. But for folks who are maybe meeting you for the first time, do you want to give us a background on who you are, what you do?
Yeah, so I'm one of the co-creators of Astro, the web framework that's really focused on content-focused sites, and we just had this big launch this week, which I'm excited to demo to you. The fact that you haven't used it yet is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. We'll get to do a good crash course on everything.
Excellent. I'm super pumped. I think this is going to be so much fun. I like from the outside when y'all first announced content collections, the very first thing that I wanted was non-markdown content collections, and in my head I was like, maybe there's a database coming, like maybe it's going to happen. And so I don't know if Astro DB and content collections work together yet. I'm excited to find out, but I'm very excited that this is the way that you went. I've kind of heard rumblings about it, and you know, I actually have a lot of questions, sort of follow-up questions. But first, why don't we start with a high level? Like, can you maybe just give us the 10,000 foot view? What is Astro DB?
Yeah, I'd love to. There's a ton of, this has been something we've been working towards for a long time, as you kind of alluded to. Like, content collections were kind of a stab at this, but all local markdown. We added like data to that and realized most people were like using it as like essentially a markdown file with no content and like only YAML stuff. So people kind of created a database out of content collections by hacking markdown. Yeah, there was definitely a need for this. It's something that we're super excited about. So it is, at a high level, a database that is directly built into Astro. It's local first, so everything is local. There's no like, if you just want to do some local development, if you just want to build an SSG, you actually don't need to like talk to a hosted database. At its core, it's this like local database layer that is built into Astro and doesn't require all the like normal fiddling that like, I don't know, I hate local development on a database. It's like spinning up Docker and okay, like get Postgres or MySQL, like this is some like heavy tech and it's running on my local machine and my memory just slowed down and why. Right. This is super lightweight. It's this really, really cool database layer that we can talk about on what it's powered by. But at the end of the day, local first. And then when you want to go to production, we built out a hosting platform for databases so that you can just easily connect to that when you go to production. We handle all the scaling and setup for you. And yeah, it's this really nice model of hosted and local kind of working together.
Yeah. And I have a lot of questions about that. Because like I've heard a lot of this discussion of local first databases and you know, you're using libsql and so practically when you say so local first, to me that sounds wonderful for development. Like I get to not have to think about any of those things you just mentioned to get my local server up and running for development. What are the implications in production though? Like, when you said build an SSG, are you saying like I can almost statically deploy a database?
Well, that's the thing about a static site, right? Is you basically do all the building locally. Right. So it was kind of one of those things like, where does the database fit in if I'm just building locally? Like that's the classic markdown. These files just live on my file system. I don't need a full database, but we found a lot of people still do want like structured content. That's what content collections essentially were. It was like, let's put some structure on top of Markdown. And it was great for Markdown, less good for data. So if you wanted to have, authors and all that data connected to your content collections, if you want to start drawing relationships between data and content, that's where we found that the database really fits in. Whether you want to go and host that and make it dynamic so you can write to it in production, a comment system on your blog where actually people are leaving comments, or if you just want this to be structure for your local content, it kind of fills both of those jobs really, really well.
And how does it work when so like for local content, that's actually great because you're saying I don't need to deploy this database. I just need to have a copy of the data for building, which is awesome. Like there are a million cases where I can think of how I would use that as opposed to my forest of JSON files that I have right now.
Oh yeah, like everyone who's built a site like that has seen that, and it's like, I guess this is the best we can do. Just like every file, a JSON file, everywhere, CSV, you're throwing it all in there and hoping it loads.
But so you're saying this goes beyond that. So you mentioned a comment system. So if I want to deploy a comment system, I'm going to develop locally and get to the point where I'm got my my client side rendering directive for my comment thing, and it puts up a form, and then when somebody submits that form, the Astro DB is kind of deployed for me. Do I have to get into the Docker and deployment stuff when I take it live?
Yeah, all handled for you. Essentially, what your build ends up doing is it just talks to our database. So there's no, like, you're not shipping, it's a HTTP proxy, so it's like really lightweight in terms of what you're shipping.
I got you.
And then we're handling everything on our end to receive those queries, send them through the database, and give you the output as quickly as possible.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really cool model. It's taken us like a year to get here. Like, we tried a bunch of different things, and this is really the one that, like, once it clicked, it just really, really clicked. We've been building a lot with it over the last couple of weeks.
Well, I can't wait to try it, but let me ask some tougher questions first. So the first question is, is this like some of the other frameworks we've seen where we should expect the cloudification of the framework starts to make it less or more expensive to use is maybe the kindest way to put it.
Yeah, there's meaner ways you can say that. Yeah, we have we are both lucky because we've seen how easy it is to kind of go down the wrong path. Like, there are just frameworks. Yeah, the business, all of this like takes over the framework and the open source and everything that you kind of love about it. So much what I love about like what we're doing is we're like this open source project. The way we structured building a company to support the project is very much, we try to hit this as much as possible. The company supports the project, not the other way around. And
right.
Yeah, everything about how we structure, how we work together, we're like core maintainers first, and then some of those people are staff members, some of them are on contracts, and some are just totally volunteers. So everything about the culture we're building is trying to do that. But when it comes down to it, I think it's just incentives. Like, we're trying to build something where this only succeeds if the Astro ecosystem grows, and the Astro ecosystem will only grow if we don't make the mistakes of past frameworks where the framework suffers in support of the business. So we see ourselves in service of Astro users. It's tough to merely like say more than like that, but it's something we really deeply believe in.
And do you see this as being like, I think the question everybody has about open source that's funded is like, when does the other shoe drop and it starts to cost money? Like, we just saw this happen with PlanetScale, for example, where it was, and it's maybe the right move for them, but for us as people who are using it, below the $40 a month reasonable pay, it was kind of like, crap, I guess that good thing, the capital hit a point where it just didn't make sense for them to keep paying for this, and we lose, right? So do you see Astro DB as being like your path toward funding Astro, or like how is this a step in that direction?
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is yeah, this is us. We've been fortunate enough to there's the open source project, and then there's this company that we formed. We raised money, and that has been supporting the project in a lot of ways with full-time resources. It's let us actually then go and take the time and effort to go and get sponsorship so that the open source project has its own funding coming in. Like, it's this huge foundation that we've been able to kind of build for the project. But at the end of the day, that does mean that there's this kind of, well, what can we do to support Astro so that the company can keep surviving as not a charity, but as a business? I think there's plenty of good options for kind of examples of this working well. And we're trying to be one of those good ones, but there's plenty of examples that are working poorly where those incentives get misaligned. And I think that's the big thing for us is, can we get those incentives aligned so that the PlanetScale thing, it's like, I think a lot of the kind of discourse, quote unquote, about PlanetScale kind of went to this, like, you all just want free stuff. Like, there is no free meal ticket. Like, PlanetScale should be like, it almost like the backlash kind of became this thing about like, almost like you're whining about a free thing being taken away from you that you didn't deserve in the first place. But I don't think that was it. I think it was more like the frustrating part about it, besides how the blog post was written, was also just like how much it was a free plan that was said like, hey, try it, build on this, like trust us is at the end of the day what the company said, and then it was removed.
Right.
And when we talk about that internally, it's really about like that trust thing is so important. Like, can we align our incentives so that not only do you have to trust us, but like it would make no sense for us to start to rug pull and pull resources out away from you. Like GitHub is the example I keep using of, if they remove their free plan, it would kill the entire platform. Like there would be no GitHub without open source and free contributions. And I think that's, maybe it was intentional, maybe it's just built into their DNA accidentally, but that idea of it is so fundamental to the DNA of the project that it wouldn't exist without free open source contributors. That is like so Astro, that everything we do is in service of trying to hit that for ourselves.
Absolutely, yeah. Ben is trolling. Is Astro DB web scale?
So, I mean, we can talk a lot about it. That is 100% a troll. Ben is a troll. Everyone needs to know that. And if anyone doesn't know the "is it web scale" meme, it's a really classic old video. But for us, like the other part of the incentive is like, can we make it so that this isn't something that, like, imagine a bad actor looks at their billing statement. Salesforce buys you and they're like, well, hold on, why are we having this free plan? Let's kill this thing. For us, making it affordable was a big thing. And really that came down to efficiency. So one thing we love about libSQL is that it's essentially a modern fork of SQLite, which means that it's not this heavy runtime. It's essentially at rest. Besides the storage of the data, there's no like server that's running. There's no, all right, this free plan has a 5-second spin up and a 5-second slowdown. And like, if you don't use it for a week, we're going to kill it. And you have to restart it manually. Like all these things that are really ergonomic, like terrible experiences, don't come from a place really of like, we're trying to build the best product. They come from a place of like, we have this thing we offered you and it's expensive and we are mitigating that as much as we can. But for us, we knew that this was so important. We designed the entire system. It only works, in my mind, at scale into the future because the tech we chose isn't expensive to run in a free plan. It's free at rest. It's $0 at rest. And then it scales up as you hit a bunch of traffic. It's really, really cool tech. And it's all powered by Terso and libSQL.
Because the SQLite stuff, and as you said, libSQL is a fork of SQLite. Like I used SQLite on a demo recently, and there is no server. It's literally a file that I committed into the repo that was like, here's your starter data, right? And how cool is that as a general concept that obviously that's not going to fly for the most massive things out there. There's a lot of ways that can fall down, but for the size of project that would be on a free tier anyways, knowing that your database is like, it's yours, like whatever, it's in your, actually, here's a question, is when Astro's doing the local DB, is it storing like a SQLite kind of like your database.db in the repo?
Yeah, so that's what we can do that no one else can, is that it is just
very cool.
There's nothing else. It's this file, and then the driver is all JS. It's running it. There's a WASM version if you want to go to StackBlitz and run it in the browser. Like it's so different from what everyone else is doing, but the end result is still the same, like fast, scalable database. We get to do this, I think, because our focus is so much on the content site, and you can build some pretty dynamic stuff. The demo I want to show you is like a dynamic interactive app, so it's not limited in that way. If you're building like the next Facebook, I might say, you should go explore other options. But for 99% of what we see people building, it's not only like this will work today and you have to move off it later. It's like this would scale into, if you're having to move off of this, you have champagne problems. You have a team of developers scaling up and sharding databases. Like you're ready to get the next step. Like this is a really solid bet for almost everything that we see people using Astro to build today.
Love that. And I think on that note, I share the same question as Dax, who is also trolling us in the comments. If Astro DB is so good, how come I'm not using it? I would like to give this a try. So let me switch us over into the pair programming mode after I get to the right screen here. Okay. And then I'm going to open up this one and present my screen.
I have a demo to show you, which I need to go find.
Excellent. All right. So while you are finding the demo, I'm going to see if I can remember your Twitter handle first try. I did it. Yes. Okay. So we are talking to Fred today. So make sure you go give Fred a follow if you're not already doing so. And we are talking about astro.build. So let me drop a link to the Astro homepage. And there's also this wonderful link to Astro DB, which we are going to be playing with momentarily. And that is basically everything I know to share. So, Fred, if I want to give this a try, like what do I do next?
I have a URL for you, and of course, my password manager is yelling at me. Trying to make a repo. Here we go. Okay, coming at you. I mean, I also love, this is such a beautiful website. We can also scroll down this real quick just to kind of hit on, like, there's a section right below this, which is like what you can build with it, which shows like reactions, comments, all these things. And what I love about this is you can like just go full in on this. You can build it, but you can also, like, if you have a CMS, or even if you have like Markdown that you've currently built in Astro on a different system, you can build a comment system. You can build a feedback widget. Like, you don't actually have to move everything over today. You can have this be accessory to the data you already have, and it's just, post ID, link to the post in your CMS. That's
love this. All right, so I also, this site really is beautiful. Like, what a great job. Kudos to the team. Love it. All right,
I got
the repo.
We're like everyone else. We're just stealing linear. All right, it's just command copy linear homepage, change some words, and ship it.
I just built a demo for another company, and the design of the landing page that I built literally just says, like, the headline is, "We totally didn't rip off linear," okay, and it's just a linear landing page.
What I hate about that is, like, it's just dark mode. It's dark mode in modern. Like, no, we did a team of people working on this, did an incredible job. I don't mean to crap on it. I was one of the people working on it, so I'm self-deprecating. Oh boy. No, it's beautiful, and it's very Astro. What I love about it, it's not a total rip off. All right. Enough digging my own grave. Clone this repo. Let's do it.
I'm ready. Okay, so I've got. Let me hide this little buddy, and now I'm looking at this repo. So we've got an Astro DB demo, and did you want me to clone this?
Yes.
All right.
Locally, and let's run it.
Let me get to my VS Code, which is. We'll just get back to one of these. And then I'm going to GitHub repo clone this one. Oops, I hope whatever I just didn't save was not something important. Find out later, I guess. Okay. So I've got this site here. It is.
Can you, just for my own OCD, can you delete that DB timestamp file? That I just pushed that, but you beat me to it.
Okay,
I don't know how that got in there. Yeah, thank you. All right, an Astro, clean, beautiful Astro.
So we've got a nice, clean Astro site. We've got a few pages here. So a home page, some API routes. We've got a few components. We've got our basic app, some database stuff, which I'm going to have you explain shortly. And then inside the package, let's see what we've got.
So this looks like a lot. This is our starter template and a couple of things that have been added to it. So I'm throwing you in a bit of a already built project. If you want to build this all from scratch, by the way, please, we can just run npm create Astro and do that. But I figured have something to kind of sink our teeth into.
Let's start here and look, and then if we've got time, maybe we throw one together from the create Astro and see how that feels.
I would go to the Astro config file. That'll kind of give you a summary more than the package JSON of just like what you're working with. What have we kind of set up for you here?
Got it.
So you can see here on line 9, that's kind of the important one here.
So we've got the database and we've got React. We're using server mode, and we're running it as a Node app.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if you like what your favorite deploy host is, so I just kind of threw in the Node deploy here.
I think this is great.
Super standalone and easy.
Love it. Yeah. So let's do that. I'm gonna just start this thing up. And 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
And here we go.
Did we? Oh, look at this. It's like a drawing app.
So I've been working on this just kind of as we've been building. And if you refresh the page, is it all still there? No, it's not still there. That is likely because I have given you a little bit of a playground here, but there actually isn't implemented yet. So I didn't do everything for you. There are some missing kind of stuff in here. So you're going to have a drawing app that is both pixel-based, but also collaborative. So if other people go to this website, maybe your stream, I don't know if you feel comfortable throwing this at your stream, but the goal here would be that we can get this hosted and up and running.
let's do it. And chat, you got to be on your best behavior because I will immediately take all the fun away if you do anything silly.
Yeah, you can also, and I'll show you where you can like add maybe a little bit of a slowdown. So maybe people can't draw there's rate limiting and stuff. It's got some good stuff in here. But the two things
Excellent.
I'd say are kind of scoped out here. There's the front end, which we can go through. But I'll just kind of point you to the API. Those two API endpoints are where we have kind of given some stubs. There's the refresh, which is fetching, and the click, which is what happens when you click. And both of those are doing nothing right now. Totally static. So on the front end, it's showing you a quick response of what you just did, but actually nothing's being saved to the database yet.
Okay, so these are our to-dos, and then look in here, you've got a rate limit set up and LRU cache, nice. And then we're posting whatever the details are of the thing, but we're not currently saving them. All right, okay, correct. I'm with you.
Cool. And then if you want to go through the app, it's pretty straightforward. It's a React app, so we're using the kind of like, we don't call it spa mode, but it's the idea of it's essentially Astro the server is just rendering the HTML, and then there's this kind of JavaScript app that loads into that. So yeah, embedded SPA on an Astro site.
Got it. Yeah, so all right, so we've got an app where we can paint, and we get a canvas, and then we click things, and it fires off. Yeah, all right, I got it. I'm here.
Cool.
Makes sense. Okay, I'm ready. So then, database.
This is kind of where the fun starts. Yeah. So this is where if you were adding, you run Astro add DB. That's what adds that database integration that you saw in your config file. One thing I really love about where we're at, we're still figuring out, does this come built into Astro in the future, or do we keep it forever as an integration? I don't think we really know the answer yet. But it's just kind of like, it doesn't come out with Astro out of the box. Astro add DB sets it all up for you. It's this kind of really nice balance between the two. DB config is where the tables are defined. So we're using, we've built this custom basically schema management system. This is one of the things you get with Astro DB is you get defined table, you can define your columns, and then a big thing about schema management is how do you actually migrate in production. So this really kind of seamless Astro DB push command, which will basically synchronize your config file with production, prevent data loss, but also try to automate as much as possible so you're not managing a bunch of migration files. We'll likely add that in the future, but one of the things that's cool about it is super lightweight. It's not like you have to learn how database migrations work before you can use Astro DB. It's meant to get out of your way.
Right. Yeah, I think that's one of the challenges I've had with a lot of these tools is that they make a lot of assumptions about how much background you have as a DBA, and for somebody like me who has no background as a DBA, it gets really confusing really fast. I actually was trying to build something with Drizzle recently, and I fell down on the first step because it just kind of skipped the part where it was like, here's how to set up your tables. I didn't know I didn't know how to do that, so I had to do a bunch of Googling. I ended up writing a post about it because I couldn't find it anywhere. So it's nice that this is just sort of like, this feels the same way as when I define a schema in Zod or something. And it's just going to work. I don't have to know that there's a first time run step or something. You're just going to pick that up for me.
Yeah. I mean, so one of the cool things is we're built on Drizzle, and I think that's what we've brought to it is if anything, we've simplified and kind of opinionated a couple things to help solve that exact problem. The way we kind of treat it internally is like, in the same way that using Astro kind of teaches you a lot more of HTML and CSS than like maybe a different framework you're used to, our goal is that you're kind of like secretly learning SQL as you go without ever actually having to write it yourself. So can we get you spin up? Can the simple stuff be simple? But when you want to start to, okay, how do I do this kind of filter? How do I group them this way or order in this way? You're starting to pick up different parts of SQL that the ORM pretty much matches that syntax, but tries to be as friendly and TypeScript enabled. So you're getting the autocomplete, all the stuff that SQL doesn't give you.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, so there's an actual question. Will work with static mode, you said?
So this app won't. This is a really good example of like, it will technically build and show you a site, but there's a click that talks to a server that then writes to a database. That needs that kind of, that's a server run app. So this is not static, but you can imagine as long as your data is static, there isn't really a write happening that the user might be clicking on or doing. Then that site is just going to be like any other static site, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. All that data loading would happen locally.
So if I were to set one of these up to make my own home-rolled version of WordPress, which somebody earlier was talking about how this could be a better WordPress from a developer standpoint, I could go in and define my blog tables and my author tables and stuff. I build the whole site statically using this schema, using Astro DB, and then that database isn't actually available from the static side.
Yeah, it's like a database that only exists during your build, and then it gets wiped away at the end, is a way to think of it. Like, it helps you build your site, but then it's gone at the end because what you have is HTML. You're good to go.
So this is actually what I really like about this is that one of the things that was so exciting about the early days when we called this stuff Jamstack is there was this idea that you could have access to all of your data, to all of the servers, to all the things that you needed, but then you got this added security of when you ship to production, it was static files with no tie to the server or the database or any of this stuff. It was literally unhackable. You could like deface the static assets, but you couldn't get to the data because it wasn't there.
Right.
And the reason I think it was hard is that you had to understand decoupling and all the different ways the databases fit together. Whereas in this case, it's all part of the same thing. That's really nice.
Yeah. It's one of the questions we've probably gotten the most frequently is like, I could just set this all up. Like, I can set up a database. I can set up there's Drizzle. Why do I need this? And I think that's exactly kind of what we're excited about here is like, once you bring it all together in an opinionated way, all of a sudden there's a story there of exactly that. Like, this is bringing in a new take on, it feels like it could be a CMS. It feels like it could be where your content lives, your content layer, your data layer.
Mm-hmm.
And it opens up a ton of different, the doors that this kind of opens up, we're still kind of, sounds so dramatic, we're still grappling with the implications of what we built. It's like,
no, I
we're
think
building
it makes sense,
it's a
though.
site builder. We're not developing a rocket, but it's really cool to kind of what this unlocks and where this will take us.
So another question from the chat is, will we be able to bring in our own libsql database or server and plug it into Astro DB?
That's a tough one. So right now we're not building for that. It is very much like if you want to go hosted, it's all designed to work with our database. And there's a couple technical reasons why, like that whole schema management system where we're automatically like resolving your migrations for you. That's all code that we're running that needs to exist on the other side of that. It can't just be a dumb database. We're also trying not to like block people from doing that. So if you wanted to hack it in and like build your own migration system, host your own database, there are currently people in our Discord who are like working on, it's an integration. So you could kind of imagine this being a different integration or someone else's integration or a third-party fork. We really don't want to limit and kind of block it, but we're also not building for that. So it's, again, we just don't really know what this thing is going to be yet. And there's a couple features that we think only work when we take that opinionated kind of vertical approach to it. But if someone wants to we're not going to be like, no, you can't do this and lock it down for really arbitrary reasons. Technically, all the pieces are there to build this yourself. It's not our focus right now until we've gotten a little bit further. It'll come eventually. It's just a question of when, I'd say.
Gotcha. All right, one more question from the chat, and then I want to start actually building. Is the colon in Astro DB an NPM thing or something else?
Good question. Okay, this is like, stop me if this becomes the nerdiest tangent ever. It's a naming convention, so it's not an anything thing. It's, I guess, an us thing, in that we've decided that that's what these imports should look like, and we've built them because we own the framework. Again, we can actually basically say when you see this import, you load this module. We control that in the app. But what I love about this is what Node is doing, and Deno is doing, and other kind of projects are doing, where it's like almost like runtime colon, like Node colon FS for file system stuff, Node colon path. And I think it really aligns with what we see Astro as, is this kind of like runtime for your app. It's not a package, it's like the actual environment. So build your naming conventions to match what you would think of as Node, getting stuff out of the Node ether. In Astro, you're getting them out of the Astro runtime, out of the Astro itself, versus like on a fake package that doesn't really exist.
Got it. Yeah, and extra details from the Astro account that has been steadily trolling you, but I keep missing it when it's relevant.
Look at this; it's a helpful post. There you go.
Right.
I promise it's not me, by the way. That would be like...
earlier. But yeah, I do think that is really cool, and I like that. I do like that we're starting to move that way because it moves away from magic aliases. Like, one of the things that always like confused me was when you would import path or FS or something, and it was like, wait, but I don't have to install that one. So I really like that now it's being done as like Node colon FS, because I know it's a built-in, right? And I think
way
that
overdue.
This is really nice because we're not aliasing like import from DB, because that would be super confusing. But like import from Astro colon DB, wonderful. It's very clear what's happening. So
what Deno's doing, which I think is like, I don't know, people would probably say this is too far, but like every package should be npm colon. Like, that's where you're importing the package from.
Yeah.
So node colon for the node stuff, npm colon.
That,
I don't know.
that
No
one
one else
feels
is doing that, so it's a little much, but I like it conceptually. Like the logic in my brain all clicks there.
The clarity, yeah. It's but that feels like a
Do I want to use it? No, not really.
it's a fine line before we end up at Java, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. .com. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I'm ready to actually start building a little bit. So we know the landscape. We've got a Canvas app. We can paint a pixel at a time. We've got all of the front end built for it, and we've got the stubs of the API routes, and we've got this database here. So what is seed? What happens in seed?
So seed's really interesting. It took us a while to get this right. This is every time you spin up the local dev server, it's going to run and seed your database. So really simple. It's a function. What you have already there at the top is what you're starting to see is how our Drizzle ORM works. You're importing it from Astro DB. You got the DB kind of the ORM itself, the query builder, and then grid cell is that table you just defined. So you're importing it now out of Astro DB as a defined table. It exists, and you can use it in your queries. Yeah, all TypeScript. This is the thing where it's like you don't realize that you've just written TypeScript because we've taken care of actually writing it for you. But what you've gotten here is fully typed. Your inserts are typed. If you are missing a value there, it's going to yell at you. If you're adding a fake value, it's going to yell at you. If the types are wrong, it's really guiding you through all the things that you can catch statically. It's going to kind of catch for you before you even run the code.
I've said this before, and I'm going to repeat myself, but I truly believe that the best TypeScript is the TypeScript that I'm not even aware exists. Like I think when library authors do such a good job with their TypeScript that it is completely invisible to the end user, that's the best outcome we can hope for as TypeScript users. And
you might not even know that. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Keep going. Yeah, I totally agree.
This just feels really good. Like the fact that if I'm in here and I just start typing, grid cell, and I have no idea what's in it, and I can just do something like this to get the details, that's huge. Like I feel like that makes me want to use a library as opposed to having to, now I got to Google what this is and I got to figure out how, that's relevant to my app. How do I know there's a whole thing, like it starts to feel very natural. And I'm assuming this also works, it does, with the auto import here, where I can just look at what's available and it's like, oh, that's my table. And now I know, oh, great, I just pull in my table and it just works, like magic, but good magic.
Yeah, 100% agreed.
All right, so we've got, do I need to seed the database? Because I noticed it doesn't currently have anything on it.
So yes, it is currently been seeded. It takes care of all that for you. Because we don't have the select actually working, we haven't implemented it yet. You're just seeing a blank screen. But
got it.
Yes, it is seeded correctly for you. Hopefully everything's going right, but that's what you'd expect there. I think that's what that log line is implying, although it could maybe be a bit more clear.
Perfect. All right, so I'm ready to go then. And I'm going to hop back into, which one do you want to do first, click or refresh?
Let's do refresh first, because I think that's going to be able to get it, and then we can actually change the seed file, and you'll see it update immediately, because anytime you change that, it's going to clear it out and reset. It's a ephemeral kind of dev database. So let's start here.
Okay. What do I do first?
Oh my! It's an outdated to-do message. The to-do is telling you to do the wrong thing. We're not trying to update anything here. We are actually trying to basically line 5 there. It's an empty array, and let's fill that.
Everybody, just forget that you saw that to do. We're going to do something different.
Yeah, you want line 2 to become an actual database query and not just an array.
Okay. So for me to do that, I am going to make some assumptions. I want to import DB from Astro DB. Mm-hmm. And let's see, I want to get my cells, so I think I need the grid cell.
Yep, correct.
And then let's see what I can intuit here. If I want to DB select, mm-hmm. And then this is going to take.
So this is where, like, if it's your first time using Drizzle, it doesn't hurt. Like, it's not a admitting defeat to go and check the docs there, because it's fairly it's just every ORM is a little different. Yeah, exactly. So like, where are you doing the pass? Where are you saying what columns you're selecting? There's a couple different. Every ORM has a different take on this. So I would say just opening up the Drizzle docs can be the easiest way the first time you're using it.
Do you want me to do that, or should I make you my docs today?
I will happily be your docs.
All right, I'm going to make you my docs today.
So it's DB select, no arguments, and then dot from is there kind of tell me where. That would be
All right.
source. Yeah.
And then is that, let's see, so that's going to give us back, yep, everything that we need. So is that it? Are we done?
Let's see. I actually in my code had a .all at the end, which is like give me everything. I don't actually know if that's required. That might just be for kind of help.
Converting circular structure. So I screwed something up here. I think we need the
It might literally be what I just saw. Try that .all. Yeah, it's probably not a full query until you do that. Because there's .get, which is like give me a single thing.
There it is. Okay.
Okay, so now if you go to the seed file, let's change the color to anything else. Right now you had gray, I think was kind of what you were working with in that 333. Yeah, change that to anything else.
Okay, so let's go with, we'll go with, obviously.
Oh yeah, we all have hex codes just memorized.
I just wanted to say a dirty word.
It didn't look like it did anything. Give me 1 second there.
Yeah, it also, let me check the thing here. So it's refreshing, but did it run, it did, no, watch seed. Okay. So do we insert
This
cells?
is what I get for, I tried to wrap this in a transaction and right before so that it would go a little bit faster, and I think I might have screwed that up. Try one thing for me if you don't mind. In the seed, remove line 5 and remove line 9. So instead of doing this like efficient transaction thing, we're just gonna, and then instead of tx dot, you're gonna do db dot.
Okay.
Now try again. See if that. That should be working. It was working for me.
Now what have I done? Let's see.
Well, let's check. Let's go into the dev console. And we can actually look at what the network is telling you. So open up your dashboard. Yeah, your dev tools. Go to the network. What's coming out of the refresh? Look for a refresh call.
Let's see, one of these. And we'll grab this one. Nothing.
Nothing. Okay, so there's nothing actually coming back. So await. Oh, are you awaiting by chance? In
We're
the
awaiting.
refresh call? I actually think this seed file is now fine. I actually think the refresh call is missing await. Yeah, so it's making an actual fetch. Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't. I guess you can return any response. Hey, look at that.
Look at us go. So actually, let's see if your transaction thing was fine. And in fact,
Yeah,
it
let's
was just
redo
me not knowing how async code works.
No, I mean that's like the gift and the curse of TypeScript is that
Oh wait, I need to TX.
Yeah.
Cannot commit.
Oh, probably an
transactions
await
equals
missing
to-
here as well. Yeah. So you really want to be careful with your async. Oh no, this is
Await,
all...
await.
Maybe remove the await on line 7. Yeah. It's totally fine without this. This is me being a perfectionist. So yeah, I think that worked.
Wait, so that
No,
it's the
didn't
wrong
work.
color now.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, all right. We're
Not worth it.
gonna roll back.
This goes to yeah.
We'll learn transactions another day.
Yeah,
That's a different episode. All right, so let me change it back to gray. And now we're gray.
Yep.
All
So
right.
anytime you change that seed file, total refresh of the database, meant to be kind of ephemeral, and now you're seeing this. But if you refresh your browser, it's not going to save because we actually haven't done anything on the click. So let's do that.
Right.
Next.
Okay, so here we're back. I've got my click, and we need to update our cell. And so again, I'm going to need import DB and grid cell from Astro DB. And then down here, we need to do something. I'm going to await. Do that first this time. Insert into, that'll be grid cell, right? Values. And then it tells me what my allowed values are.
Yep. So it's going to yell at you if you forget anything that's important, kind of guide you through it, which is really neat.
So I need my X and my Y, which are where? They're literally right here. X, Y, and value.
Okay, now don't run this yet. Just
Okay.
yeah, take a look at it. Looks good. The way this is implemented, it's actually not inserting when you click; it's updating. So that's what that seed file is. It's actually inserting everything, and you're just updating the color. So it shouldn't be too big of a change. Update, I think.
See,
Dot
update.
set maybe instead of dot values. Because again, it's trying to match the SQL kind of syntax here.
Got it.
All right, let me confer with my cheat sheet. Make sure this is what I saw running. That's correct. But one thing about this is that you're also, when you run update, you're updating everything unless you put a where. So this is gonna be our first time playing with like where filters.
Okay, and
So
in
you
this
don't want
case,
to
it
update
would
every
be
cell.
like where the X, Y.
Yeah, exactly. We want to update a single cell at location X, location Y.
Wait, hold on.
And you can actually remove those from the set because we don't want to change them.
How does this work? Is it like where equals?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So this is where again it's like
from?
equals is, it should have just been auto imported. Try to do the auto import thing where you kind of like, you can just you can go and update your import manually, but it comes from Astro.
Command dot comes in from Astro DB, and then I want X equals, what is it? Grid cell X.
Yep. Flip those. Oh, actually, maybe that works.
I think it'll do either, but
okay,
yeah, I'll
cool.
flip it because that probably makes more sense. So then, all right, so then I can take that one out. Should I? And I need the Y as well. Then I need an and.
Yep.
And we'll have you.
Oh, someone's used Drizzle before.
Exactly one time. Had to write a blog post about it.
This is the kind of thing where it's like, I always forget the syntax. It's, once you have a code base and you've seen a couple of them, you can just kind of refer to your own code and check. But again, the Drizzle docs are pretty good at this.
Okay, so looking at this, we've got our database. We're going to update the grid cell table. We're going to set the value where the X equals the current X and the Y equals the current Y. We'll just change the color. Okay.
And I have a .run at the end. I don't think it's required, but in the interest of full kind of perfection, explicit perfection here.
Okay.
I think that's very explicitly telling Drizzle, I'm done, run this thing. There's no response here that we care about. This is good enough.
Got it. All right. So we are awaiting this. Okay. So theoretically speaking, now when I go in here and I click this button, I'm gonna refresh.
Drum roll. Do you need a drum roll?
Yes, I need absolutely. I need a drum roll.
It's going to shake my mic is going to fall. I have the most janky setup right now. All right. If you refresh the browser. No. Hey!
Okay. So we're getting what we wanted. That is excellent. And yeah, it's way faster this time. Maybe it was that's just that first load, but we're good. We're set exactly how I would want to be.
Yeah, so here you go. Perfect. The most over-engineered drawing app you've ever seen, powered by Astro.
I don't know. I mean, I will say I am actually like, this doesn't feel over-engineered because I have seen how I've built these, and it was way more complicated than this. And the fact that stuff like the database is just coming in makes me feel less intimidated by having to build something like this, because I can have this idea and it's just here for me. I don't have to okay, am I gonna do I put this into Postgres? Oh shoot, where am I gonna get Postgres from? This whole thing, right, of trying to figure out which service I'm gonna use, and is this gonna be popular enough that when the database goes to sleep, I'm gonna have people emailing me telling my database is down. This is nice to know that I can just ship this thing and it'll work.
Yeah, you don't realize how kind of bad some of the current state. One of my favorite things to ask people is when I'm demoing, it's what would you use today to do this? And people walk me through what that looks like. It's go to that server, go to that provider, whoever that is. Okay, it's shut down. I need to spin it back up. I need to get a connection string or a token. I need to make sure that's set up properly. I need to make sure that it's running locally, but it's not talking to production. There's so much that goes into this that you just breeze by in this model. And that's that kind of vertical integration, that. Yeah, it only happens because we've built it all into the framework. We can kind of guide all of it into the actual runtime itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is. It just feels good. This makes me want to build, and I think there's something intangible. It's very hard to describe, but there's software that when I use it, it makes me want to build stuff. And there's software that when I use it, I'm sort of reluctant to add things because I don't want to deal with the consequences of my actions. And one of the reasons that I've been so just bullish on Astro from the beginning is that when I use it, it makes me want to build things. I'm excited to try a new feature or to add something in. And this holds to that ethos where I'm thinking about this as, yeah, I want to go build some stuff with it. I'm immediately going to go make some terrible decisions with databases on my website because now I know how to get this in here, and it just doesn't feel as heavy. So very, very excited about this. Like this feels like it's going to unlock some, a lot of, I don't know, we need the weird internet back. And this feels like a great way for folks to build the weird internet.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I love that. I really debated, should I even put like the token cache and the rate limit? Like this whole file could be 10 lines total, but I was worried you might then like deploy it and then your audience like immediately is like, all right, how do we take this thing down? Like evil hands rubbing together. And I figured I'd go a little safer.
We do have a lot of folks watching right now, so it could certainly be a mess. Speaking of which, welcome to the Raiders. Glad to have you here. All right, so we have built a very basic drawing app. It is, let's see, we're about halfway through. So let's deploy this. Let's play with it for a second. And then I want to just try building something from scratch and just see how quickly we can get it done. So for me to deploy this, what's the best place to deploy one of these Node ones?
That's the thing about the Node ones. It's kind of like, where did you like AWS or Railway? We're going to go outside of like I've been using Vercel mostly, so it's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse in terms of actually seeing this thing run. But kind of up to whatever you want.
I don't know enough about Railway to feel confident, so why don't we just switch it over to the Vercel deployer and we'll just put it there, and we'll see if I have an active Vercel account.
That works. Netlify also, we got some good stuff there as well. So yeah, it's really
will it just work? I know I have a Netlify account, so will it?
Yeah, let's do that. I'd optimize for what you think is set up on your end.
Okay, so I'm going to npx astro add Netlify, and is this going to explode when I try to add 2 adapters?
Good. Let's see. There's only one way to find out.
Here we go.
I will walk you through. Yeah, if you're trying to be safe, I would. Yeah, it looks. No, I think it works.
Wow! Who built your CLI?
It's so funny because you say that. I'm like, oh, it probably should have told me I was going to switch it out. Like, I only see the problem. And no, it's really nice. It's really nice.
No, I mean, I love it because and you did tell me you were going to switch it out. You showed me the code.
Yeah,
like I looked at this before I committed. Like, to me, this is exactly what I would expect. I'm switching my adapter. Just switch the adapter. Don't try to merge them. Don't fail. Like, I told you what I wanted. Do what I want. And if I didn't realize what I wanted, I'll learn.
Yeah, more people need to steal Astro Add. It's like one of my favorite things about the framework.
So good.
As someone who's lost a ton of time to setting up
for nonsense. Real. Absolutely true. And then I don't need to do anything for, like, this doesn't need to be edge deployed or anything. It can just be whatever the defaults are.
Let me triple check the import of where it's coming from, but I believe, so scroll to the top of that file. Yeah, I think that's just good to go. Yeah, delete the node one.
Okay, we're in business. So then I have, we're going to do a GitHub repo create. And I want to push the existing repository to GitHub. Oh, is this going to explode because I didn't technically fork it? Let's find out. And okay, so I've done it. Yes, unable to add remote origin. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, so.
Oh, right. This is the. I would just kill. You can also just kill the .git folder and make it your own.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah. We'll do that for time. So I'm gonna remove not DB. Get out of here. Okay. Git init.
Yeah, there you go.
And then we're gonna get remote or git add everything. Good. Everything's fine. Yes. All right, we're fine. So then I'm gonna git commit and.
No, you created it. Also, if you can hear my background noise
behind you.
No, I was so worried. There's a setting on StreamYard which was like disable background noise. I was like, oh, no one can hear this. There's someone taking a very loud call next to me. These walls are so thin.
Do I have? I think I killed everything, right? So okay, I'm gonna GitHub repo create, and we'll just do this again. I'm gonna push the existing one. This is the one we want. We'll call this Astro DB, and push it up to here. Good, public. Add a remote, yes. I want it to be called origin. Would I like to commit? Yes, I would. And there we go. Then I can npx netlify init. I'm realizing some things that I don't actually remember how to use Netlify anymore. It's been a minute. Okay, so here we go. Wonder if I'm still logged in.
Like a cooking show, if this doesn't end up working, I can send out the URL I have, which is currently, for some reason, someone spent the time to draw a giant goose. I don't know why. There's just a giant goose saying honk. But here we are. So if anyone wants to see that, that'll be your reward if this doesn't go all 100%.
Okay, so we're going. I don't need a TOML. It's pushing, it's going, the things are happening. And if I go out to my Netlify account, which is over here, this one, we'll see Astro DB is building.
Okay, now while this builds, I'll tell you what's about to break. It's in production, so there is no more seed database here. It has nothing to talk to. I actually don't know if this is going to like explicitly tell you. It might just not talk to anything, and anytime you make a request, it'll fail. So we need to actually get this talking to a database. Yeah, there we go. It said something.
Cannot install with frozen lock file.
Oh, well, maybe not.
Oh my God.
Oh, I bet it's confused. There's a PNPM lock file in that file because that's what I was using, and you used NPM. I bet it's super confused by that.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. So
here's been using NPM, so I just removed the lock file from PNPM.
Remove.
Oh, maybe not. No, I might have made that up. Ignore me.
No, it's doing something. Where is all this stuff? Package lock, PNPM lock. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to delete the PNPM lock because I don't have PNPM.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like if PNPM lock file found, install that, and then like NPM's the fallback. So
we'll see what it does. Okay. So me using the wrong package manager notwithstanding, you said this is going to break because we're not seeding the database. And
yeah, there is no production database created yet. Exactly. Right, so this is where the transition into, okay, I want a database. I want to go to Astro to provide it for me. That is where you kind of reach out and spin up one of these databases on our platform.
Okay. So how do I do that? Because I imagine I'm going to need to do that now, and we can.
That platform is called Astro Studio. So if you go back to that DB landing page, there's a link there to get started.
Where did the echo come from?
This room, I'm telling you. Thin walls, very cavernous echoes. So up in the top right, that'll be one place you can go. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So you can log in with GitHub. You're going to authorize. Welcome. Get your account. So you can totally skip this.
Yeah, I'll do that later, since I imagine, I can't imagine the chat wouldn't do terrible things if they had my credit card number.
Good call. You didn't check out, the free plan is incredibly generous, so you wouldn't even need that until you really hit some serious scale.
Cool.
Like 1 billion reads and 1 million writes per month. It's pretty good.
Don't think I'm there yet. So I'm going to start a project.
Yep.
Import from a GitHub repo seems like the right call.
Yep. Should be good.
Okay. Grant permissions. Going to, you can see my repos. Good. And then.
Sometimes, we just fixed this bug. Yeah. For some reason, it just keeps sending you back. Oh, probably because you need to. Oh, interesting. It should do that all in one go.
Learn with Jason. There you are. Okay. So, I can do that.
Love one password.
It's the best.
Quick, everyone steal the 6 digits. Go. All right, there we go.
I didn't think about this, but there are hundreds of repos in here. I did the most recent one first.
Cool.
So we've got Astro DB, North America East. We've got options all over. Is there any implication on like pricing, which one I choose?
Nope, all the same price.
Awesome. All right, so we'll use East because I think we've got a good spread of people between US and Europe, and not Europe. Just pretend that US East is the center point of the world.
All right, so we are creating a new database. We're configuring your GitHub repo, and now we are waiting for GitHub to kind of tell us that it all succeeded. So an interesting thing, we're really deeply integrated with GitHub. Actually, from your time at Netlify, one of the things that I've always bothered me, it's like I need to learn how to set up GitHub Actions and my special Vercel or Netlify CI runner, and like all these different competing. It's a lot of complexity on the hosting provider, and then a lot of complexity on the user. So everything is GitHub Actions in this model. If you go back to that repo, you'll see we just committed a new action It's going to essentially keep your schema up to date. So if you ever make a change, it's going to basically handle that all for you. If you do a PR, it's going to warn you if you're making a breaking change before you merge. So it's just like fully integrated into your PR workflow to keep your schemas up to date.
That's cool. All right. So all right. So here's our Astro stuff. Just got added in.
Yep.
That's great. And did that trigger a build? Let's find out. So this build failed,
yep.
and it said it failed because couldn't log into Astro DB.
Yep.
So then this one failed. Why did this one fail?
Well, it says complete. Oh, complete initializing. Oh, it's probably trying to. Oh, so there's one more thing here. Oh, hold on here. Login required. You're running Astro Build Remote.
To authenticate with
Astro
Studio.
Course. Okay, so yeah, this error message could be more clear. So just to be clear, this is all early preview. We just launched, so the error message and stuff it could be a lot clearer. You've authenticated GitHub Actions.
Yeah.
You haven't authenticated Netlify. So Netlify doesn't have the token, the secret.
Oh, right.
Talk to the database.
Of course, yeah. So then I need to go into my database and I need to get my app token. Okay. And we're going to generate an app token for Netlify.
Now this I would do on a secret browser. Like if anyone, I don't know how quick your chat is, but I would do this somewhere that they can't see.
They're too quick. So I'm pulling this off screen.
Yep. And we need like streamer
don't
mode.
look at my file folder. Okay, so I'm going to generate this, and I've copied, and I'm reloading the page, and now y'all can you can see the last few digits of it. So I just generated this Netlify token, and then
probably
back
want to
here,
hide when you go back to Netlify as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I need where is it? Build settings. Am I? Oh, I'm in builds, not sites. Let me get into this Astro DB site. Where the heck are you? Here. And then I need site configuration, and then there's environment variables. Does this have to have a certain name? I assume it does.
Yes, I just chatted it to you. I think it's on that page, but you can just grab it from chat.
It is called Astro Studio App Token. It does contain secret values, and we're going to limit it to...
I think you need it in the functions.
But we won't need it in the runtime. Like
what's the difference between functions and runtime again? Oh, yeah.
Functions are like what's deployed to AWS. That would be anything server actions-y. And then the runtime would be like if you need it, if you're, like submitting forms, or if you need a token for if you're doing like secure proxies. I don't really understand how a lot of that stuff works, but we're going to use the same value for everything. Oh, apparently I can't. So then this one, let's make that hidden, and then I'll drop this in here. Deploy previews, branch deploys.
Paste it into all of them, I guess. This is all new to me, so I'm not familiar with this.
I think it's because I said it contains secret values. They're not going to let me do all of them at once. Branch deploys and local.
That's some enterprise security concepts. Like
Netlify has definitely been steering into. They're very much into the like enterprise readiness these days.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we've got it. We have our secret value. Now we're going to go rebuild. And here we go, deploy site. And this is going to be the one. This is going to work. Maybe. Or we're just going to watch this thing spin.
Drum roll. This is where the drum roll. You need a soundboard. I feel like, didn't you used to have a bunch of boops flying around the screen?
I did used to have a bunch of boops.
Yeah, I feel like you could chat and then a boop would show up and it would fly across the screen. There might have been like a gif of me going like, no, and they're flying over my, like filling up my screen maybe so you can't see me.
Yeah, we have. I kind of want to bring that back. I had stopped doing it because it's so chaotic that for some folks it would completely throw them. Now, what are you mad about? Let's see. Secret scanning. Secrets found in. What?
Oh yeah, we built it into the file, I think, at this point.
My
Does it not let
dude.
us do that?
To prevent exposing secrets, the build will fail if these are expected.
Yeah, this is a limitation of how we've built it, is that we actually like, okay, so that's actually, this is a cool feature. I'll give a +1 to this feature.
Okay.
Usually if you see a secret in your code, it's a bad thing. It's not a great thing at this point, but it's something about how we build this where we actually include it in the build.
I'm just going to turn this off for this project because I don't want to deal with it right now.
Yeah.
So
This is something we're fixing in the next couple of days. It's just a way that it was built for the
add a single
in the
variable. We're
first
going to
version.
call it this, and I'm going to say true.
Well, do you want it false?
Yeah, I want it false. Okay, this one. This is it. This is the one that's going to work, and we'll just.
This is the one.
Just get some music going again.
How long? I would love to know the click-through rate on that fancy a game while you wait.
That's a great question. I think it was pretty high at first. Oh, here we go.
Do. Meanwhile, I'm setting up. I'm getting my my example ready just in case this doesn't.
Probably not a terrible idea. Oh, damn it.
Although, of course, oh my God, I love this.
Here we go. Here we go.
Of course, on my pre-plan of hosting this on a previous demo, it took down or it didn't take down. It's just like the actual server for how much traffic we were sending at it. My free plan on Vercel just completely died.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh yeah, no, this is you are sending 5,000 people at once to this demo. That is not gonna.
What?
What?
Get out of here. What is this? The function is crashed. Yeah, but consider not
us
crashing.
or Netlify?
That. Come on.
Come on.
Logs, functions. No, I already have. Y'all, pull it together. Now, see, this function is no. Unknown application error. Okay, so it's blaming it on you.
Okay, this is my first time seeing this on Netlify, so again, early preview. Maybe there's a
I have
weird
no
thing going
idea
on
what
with
this
Netlify.
is. All right, do you have is yours running?
I got a demo for you.
All right, throw me a demo and we'll get that one live for everybody.
Again, it's been a while since I've run this. How's it looking? Looking good. All right, it's looking good. All right, good luck. Chat. I don't know. Am I allowed to talk to your chat? Chat?
You were absolutely, yeah. Dude, put on your best dad voice, like.
Chat, we talked about this. All right, you can share that out.
I can't believe somebody made a goose. That's amazing. All right, y'all. Let's go in here and let's play a little bit responsibly.
I really want to know who did the goose. It's a weird thing about these sorts of things. You'll never know. I think the refresh rate, because I was so worried about the refresh rate on this, it's pretty slow. Again, this is not real time. This is just, whatever is running. So it's querying the database every couple seconds. It should be running. Let me see. Someone might actually be hitting this, resetting the honk. No, that would be incredible.
That would be such an enormous amount of effort to make sure that your goose stayed.
The red squares in the top left went away. I think someone must have.
I think somebody's
cleared
whitening
that.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
There we go.
Here we
love
go.
that.
Stuff is happening. I mean, somebody put sunglasses on the goose. I love that.
So I'm not going to redeploy, but actually the version of this is way faster refresh rate. This was me being so scared. Never it's not real time. What are we doing? If this feels slow, it's just because this is not a real time WebSocket. This is a 5-second refresh rate.
And I think we put the refresh on, even in the code here, the refresh rate was like, because it's polling, not WebSockets.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. So again, this is like if you were building this,
Would this
I would put
work?
a WebSocket on top of it.
Would this work with like Sunil Pai's party kit stuff?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Ooh, chaos. I love chaos. Okay, so this is fun. I feel like look at everybody actually playing nice. I appreciate you all.
I do think someone is clearing this out. I think someone is resetting I think whatever set the goose is a constantly running thing.
Fascinating.
Or you have some very aggressively like cleanup people.
Well, and it does look like whoever did it is they're rewriting colors.
Yeah.
Because like these colors aren't available.
Yeah, 100%.
So, okay. So this is great. Like this is super fun. I am going to navigate away before, I guess I thought somebody
You're so scared.
I thought somebody was drawing, drawing wieners and like, it's eventually going to happen in any drawing apps.
I find it's a self-fulfilling. It's so easy to like mess with a design. Like, I don't know. I saw this a couple times when we were demoing. It's like you can just kind of throw a couple of white squares and like all of a sudden that pixel art doesn't make any sense.
Right.
I feel like it's there's enough like police in the audience that help that. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm gonna. We got like 20 minutes left, and so I want to just look at the 0 to database approach. Like we don't have to deploy it or anything. I just want to kind of see how it feels. So I'm gonna create a new project. So I'm gonna do npx or npm create Astro, and this one. Or hold on, let me make sure I'm using Astro at latest because I don't know if you have a.
Yeah, that's always a good idea.
Yeah, I think that would have been an old version. So I'm going to use the latest version.
We're glad to have you on board.
I'm glad to be here.
Love that little guy.
Astro. Okay, so then we're gonna call this one Astro DB from scratch, and I'm gonna go empty because party. Write some TypeScript, we'll go strict. Yes, I want the dependencies. Yes, I want a new Git repository. Get our dependencies. Okay. And then for me to actually start using this, I needed Astro add DB.
Mm-hmm.
And then do I need anything else?
It just depends. Not anything that you need. Do you want to have a front-end framework? Do you want to use Tailwind? Like those sorts of things you can add as you go.
Yeah, let's roll without for now and see how we feel. Good. Yes, that is what I want. Okay, so then I'm going to npm run dev. Do I already have something running on that?
Cannot read your package.
Oh, I'm in the parent folder. Astro DB from scratch, and
I have no idea where Astro add just did that, so you might want to run Astro add again because you weren't in here when you ran that command.
That is a great.
It clearly found Astro, so
it did something. So I'll have to go look what just changed in my.
No, you probably just have an Astro config in that folder now.
Okay, great. So that's good, and then we'll npm run dev. And
I think it's.
I did stop it. Okay, good. So then we can come over here, and I'll actually just reload this one. Here's our basic Astro site. Mm-hmm. And now what I want to do is I want to create something. This is the wrong project, so I'm going to, actually I need to stop, open this one up, shut this one down, and then we'll start again. Okay, so now we're running for real. And I've got my database here, my config. And so for me to do a table, I can just name it whatever I want.
Yes, whatever you want.
Okay. And then I noticed y'all did like a Pascal case. Is that a recommendation or?
Yeah, you can really do anything here, but that's what we would recommend. Yeah, upper camel case.
Okay.
There's a whole, everyone has their thoughts on this. I would even say we are more following the Prisma model, which is it's also not plural. If you really want to get in the weeds, you're
not
selecting
plural.
Post. Yeah. So thinking of it more like a model, like this is like the class name almost. Like this is a post. but
that
is totally subjective up to the author.
So then if I want a column,
Mm-hmm.
then my column can be any of these types. Okay, so we'll go with text. And then we'll have some body would be column text. And then that'll have a post date of a date.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't we do a published? And that'll be a column dot Boolean. Okay. And is that it? I'm done?
Yeah, it's whatever you want it to be. Yeah, that's all. Like maybe
whatever I
author,
want it to
maybe published at, but no, that's all you need.
Okay, so then I get my post. How does it know? How does it like update? Do I have to do something?
Oh yeah, there's one last thing here, which is define. No, it's defining DB there. Save the file again. It should all be working.
Oh, something crashed. Hold on. Columns is required.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
post.
is it-
Yeah. There's a
Is
sub
here?
No, it's on post. So post should be columns are title. Yeah, I don't know. God, I'm having trouble saying this in English. Post is an object, and it has one key, which is columns, and that is going to be the schema.
I got you.
I'm surprised that didn't. Yeah, we must have a more lax type. That's like one of the things that TypeScript should be helping us with here.
Got it. Okay, so now if I run this again, new local database created. Okay, and then when I go back into my seed, it's there. Okay,
It's
good.
there.
So if I wanted to, I don't know, await DB insert into, wait, what was it? It's DB insert post
I think so.
values.
Yeah.
And the values are just one value. We'll just do the one. We'll do
This
test
is where
post.
Copilot is so good at just like, here's a bunch of like garbage placeholder stuff. Lorem ipsum.
Wow, a post. And then we'll have a date of.
Sounds so sarcastic. Oh wow, good for you, a post.
Okay. So that will be our database. That's our seeded database. We've got one value in there, just a post so that we can see what's going on. And then I can use this however I want. So if I
However
go
you
in
want.
here and I say import DB and post from Astro DB.
Yeah, if there's any downside about the like art demo is that it's kind of throwing you in the React app world. But one of the nice things about this is because Astro components run on the server, you have access to this database primitive. You don't even need the API layer at all if you're not running client side. You can just have this all be direct calls to the database and use them in your output however you want. It's only when you need that like spa mode that you need to worry about an API.
Yes. Okay, so then I'm going to do like a section, and then we'll set up a loop, and I'll say post.map. We get our post. And this knows what it is. Oh, I love that so much. It's so good. Okay, so then...
TypeScript. Yeah, I've become such a... What I was going to say earlier when you were talking about TypeScript was we've actually always been TypeScript like only. It's not even like TypeScript first or TypeScript like easy. It's like every Astro component is just TypeScript. And the nice thing about TypeScript is that it's a superset. It is more than JavaScript. So if you just want to write JavaScript, you're fine. You can, and we'll try and get out of your way as much as possible. But TypeScript is its language. It is TypeScript. And because it's a .astro syntax, you don't really notice it as much. But it's all there, checking your code, keeping an eye on what you're writing, and hopefully helping as you go.
Oh, look at it. Look at it. It's a full date object again. I was like, is this going to make me do date formatting? No, I just get to do something like this. Beautiful. Use the platform. I love it. And then we'll also do an if post.published will return null. And I'm going to wrap that in some curly boys.
Nice.
Okay, so this is now a, like, we have loaded from the database. I'm going to collapse down this piece here. So we've loaded from the database. We've got all of our posts. And then we're looping over those posts and creating little listings. So There it is. All right. Now I want to, do we have time? We maybe have time. I want to be able to add a new one. So let's add a new post. And to add a new post, I'm going to create a form. And my form is going to have an label. And that label is going to be for the title. And that's going to have an input, type, text, and name of title. And then I'm going to duplicate this for the body, even though I would usually make this a text area, but I'm not going to stress about it. And then I'm going to just put in a button, type, submit, and save. Okay, so now we have like a post, and I want this to, if I do method post, then up here I can do something like if Astro dot, shoot, what is it? Request method equals post. Look at me go. Who needs Fred Schott, everybody? I got this.
I'm checking my email. I'm seeing what's going on the sports.
Then I can do
need
some. Okay, but now I do need you because when I submit this, it's going to give me my form methods here, and so I want to get my form data, and that's going to be the new form data out of is it Astro request body?
The request object, yeah. Oh god, it's been a while since I've used form data directly like this.
I mean, I can also just I can just get it. Do y'all do it like this, where I can just get the title and the body out?
Oh, I think there's a dot form data method on a request. Let me see. Request dot form data.
Oh, perfect.
This is a quick Google, so I don't know if that's actually gonna.
Let's do that, and then
maybe
I'll
do a
get
console
the
log too. There's no
title.
Oh wait, I guess it's asynchronous. I think the function call was right. I think it was just that it was a promise that it returns. Yeah.
Data dot get. There it is. Okay, perfect. So then we got our title. Duplicate that, and we're going to do the body, and then our date will be a new date, and I don't know why I decided I was going to think I had enough time to do publish, because that's just always going to be true. And then I want to await a db.insert, and it's going to go into the post, and we're going to set values, and our values are the title, the body, the date, and whether or not it's published. And you're unhappy because why?
No overload. I'm surprised it's saying.
No overload matches. Are you saying you don't know that that is?
Could be because it's undefined, possibly. Yeah, try that. You might just need that for all of them. Or for those two.
That was it. Okay, yeah. So we'll just.
Yeah, that should have been a more clear error message. But yeah, that's by default, all the columns are required, not optional.
Okay. So then theoretically, we've got this running. So another post. Oh, neat. No, could not parse content as form data. All right, so I did something.
No, I think this is good. I think it's the form itself, maybe. Like if you go down to the form, is it all
type text, name, title?
No, you're right. Huh.
It's a post. Okay, so I'm screwing something up. Let's console log the. Well, no, because it choked on this.
It choked on that. Yeah, this is my first time. I've not used that method, so I'm throwing you code snippets. I don't actually know how they work.
No, that's not it. Let's go Astro. Oh, do I need to make it? I need to turn on hybrid mode. Like we don't have, right? Because I'm not in.
Yeah, if you want to deploy this, you would definitely want it to be a server because you're doing this. I think.
Okay.
I don't know if that's blocking you, but definitely.
Yes, it was. Wait.
I have so many gooses on my screen right now. Hey, it worked.
It worked, but in an odd way. I have some kind of a lag. So do I need to, it's like one behind. Do I need to redirect it?
Then it's maybe succeeding and something else is happening. If you go back to the...
Oddly enough, I'm wondering if I
You're
need to
waiting,
like Astro redirect to itself.
Oh, right. Where's your get command? Where are you fetching them from? I bet it happens above this.
It does.
So you're selecting, and then you're updating it.
So
but
I
you're
just
still using the
gotta,
old. You just gotta move it.
I just gotta get the order of operations right. That's much easier. Okay.
This is one of those things where like I would still do what you did. I like redirecting because when you do a post and return HTML, if you ever try to refresh that, it's going to give you that like confirm form resubmission, and then you're going to post it again by accident.
That's true.
I like
That's
the redirect
true.
thing.
Yeah,
Personally.
let's do it. So I'm going to Astro redirect, and do I have the current page in Astro's object?
Yeah, astro.url, I believe is a full object. So you can do .path, .url, toString. Yeah, all that's good.
Yeah, that'll be fine. All right. And now when I
if you refresh that.
What?
Oh, no. You might need to return it.
Oh, that would make sense. I got to return it. Okay, so we're refreshed here.
I don't know why I threw it. I was like, oh, this demo's going great. Let me throw a really esoteric thing for you to test.
And now it works.
Refresh it. Hey, there we go.
Look at it go. Y'all, okay, so obviously this is the simplest possible version of this thing that I could have built, but we literally just built a CMS in 10 minutes. Like, what?
Yeah, there's some really, really cool stuff you can do with this.
That is really, really incredible. Like this is super cool. Oh yeah, and like Ross caught that we needed to swap the fetch and post. This is really, really cool. Like I am immediately seeing things like I have always thought it would be fun to have comments. Did not want to deal with setting up, something like Discuss or another third-party system. Didn't really want to deal with like running a whole Postgres thing, but I will absolutely make a mess out of my site using this. And a bunch of other little ideas. Like I want to keep track of little things that I do, but I don't necessarily want to maintain whole like separate third-party databases to manage that kind of stuff, or like try to manage it in Notion and then import it or whatever the thing is. Being able to just throw together a quick schema and quickly jot down my ideas, there's some real magic in here. And I hope that everybody else's gears are turning as much as mine are, because this feels like something special. Yeah,
we obviously are. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, it's something we're super proud of and really excited about where this goes.
This is very, very cool. So Fred, where should people go if they want to learn more?
So astro.build is the website, and there's currently a link on the homepage to go check out the... go to that goose, whatever you were hoping that goose. Go check out that goose. Yeah, Astro DB is live. That's astro.build/db. Yeah, that's all the important stuff is there. Our Discord community is awesome. We're doing like a full community day. So if you go hang out in Discord, there's a lot of fun stuff today going on. A huge video was just posted about our community. Like someone basically made a documentary about Astro. It's really cool. There's some cool stuff going on today to check out.
Very, very cool.
And yeah, astro.build is the Twitter handle. So astro.build spelled out. And you can see everything we're doing for our launch week right over there.
Excellent, excellent. Dropping a link to that as well. All right, y'all. This has been a lot of fun. So let me give one more shout out. We've had Ashley from White Coat Captioning doing all of the live captioning today. Let me turn that little link back on for anybody who wants to see it. That is made possible through the support of our sponsors, NX and Netlify, and you can find out more about our sponsors and the captioning on the website. So let me throw a quick link to the site up for y'all. As always, if this show is helping you, if you enjoy it, if you want to subscribe, hit the like button, share it with your friends, just anything to let people know that I'm out here and I exist. Helps me keep going. This is my full-time job now, so I'm needy. And if you are checking out things on the site, make sure you go and look at the schedule because we've got a lot of really good stuff coming up. We're going to learn about structured concurrency, which sounds real computer sciencey. I'm excited to show off all my friends what I know about that once I've learned it. We're going to learn about Valtown, which is kind of doing stuff with, you know what? I'm not going to even try to describe it. I'm going to let Steve describe it when he's on the show. And then Sunil Pai's coming back. We're going to talk about adding state to serverless functions. Very interested to see how that is happening. Lots of good stuff coming. And then a bunch of things that I haven't written down yet. So make sure that you subscribe to the newsletter, do all the things. I got a Discord. Fred, thank you again for spending some time with us today. This was an absolute blast. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and hang out. I know that this is a busy week for y'all. So after this, I think we are gonna go raid Ben if you're watching on Twitch. If you are not watching on Twitch, you may consider going to.
Ben, the tables are turning. I'm trolling you now. I'm coming into your chat, and I'm going to be trolling you now. Let's see how you like it.
See, so I think Ben was planning on going live in like 4 minutes. So what do we just have to kill 4 minutes now? Ben, get online. All right, let's dedicate the next 4 minutes to just trolling Ben. I actually had Ben on the show, on a different show that I do. Called 4 Web Devs Build the Same App.
I saw that. Yeah, I'm one of those people who actually uses their YouTube feed like a social network, which I've only now realized that other people just don't do that. Ben's photo popped up just out of nowhere. Ben is flying by my feed. I'm excited to check that video out.
But this one was. Let me pause that. This one was super fun. Ben, if you may be surprised to note that Ben made a whiteboard app as his app, but it's really cool. It's super fun to see. You should absolutely go and check that out. And let's see, Ben, are you live yet? God, Ben, you're killing me right now. Are you watching?
The reason we all love Ben is, so Ben works on Astro just by chance and is just a super, does these whiteboard the web videos, is just like a really fun person to follow. So go check him out.
Absolutely. All right. So
he worked on a lot of this Astro DB stuff. Was pretty instrumental in the CLI. It's been a long time. A lot of work for him this week as well.
Very cool stuff. So I'm gonna attempt to raid Ben. Y'all just sit tight, troll him in his comments, and he'll be live here momentarily. I was assured. So we'll see what happens. But with that, I think we're going to call this one done. Fred, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Congratulations on the launch, and thank you for what you and the Astro team are doing for the web community. I think it's given a lot of folks like me a lot of new energy to build, and I really do appreciate that.
Right on. Thanks for having me on. It's a lot of fun. I love the show, and every time it's a blast.
All right, y'all. I'm just gonna put us into standby mode here while I raid Ben. So this is the end of the stream. Goodbye.